welcome Art to the stage.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Linda, for the great introduction. And those of you that are familiar with my programs, the reason this one is run at such a much more professional level in terms of the production and everything is the wonderful work of Linda and Anthony and Raleigh and Mira from Blue Diamond. So let me mention before I really get started, if you need anything at any time, if you go to the chat and you click on, it'll say team member or something that will give you a clue, you can let them know if you need anything. And I'll ask you to do something that we used to teach teams to do in corporations, and it's called an actionable request. An actionable request is just ask for whatever you want or need, and then we'll see what we can do about it. You don't have to justify it or tell us if something's wrong. Just tell us what you want and need. They're a great team. They're very, very responsive. So I wanted to mention that, get that stuff out of the way. Okay, so I'll start again. Welcome. And my expectation is that 3 days from now, your life is different, that it's better in many, many ways. And I'll be using the word transformation a great deal. I don't think that your real essence, needs transformation. My personal belief is that everybody on the planet is an embodiment of a beautiful, powerful, amazing, multidimensional spirit. And where we have difficulties in life is our programming, our unconscious beliefs, energetic programming, karma, different things that restrict us. So my goal in all of this is that all of you are more authentically yourself in the 3 days from now. And by being more authentically yourself, your life is more and more miraculous. Years ago, well, I'll start with childhood. When I was really young, I was interested in two things. I wanted to be a scientist when I grew up, and I also was very interested in the powers of the unconscious mind, telepathy, powers of the unconscious mind, and I just knew all of that was real. I don't know why, I just knew it was real. And even in elementary school, I wanted to learn about hypnosis. And my mom actually took me to the library, and I wanted to check out a book on hypnosis, and the librarian wouldn't let me check it out because I was so young. So my mom, who trusted me, checked it out for me. And my mom said the librarian gave her this, "You're a terrible mother" look. And so I started studying hypnosis, and I would hypnotize my friends and my cousins, and we had a lot of fun with it. So I was always interested in those two streams. And I was really interested in the powers of telepathy, clairvoyance, and all of that. But I believed a myth that was going around. It's still common, but it was really common when I was younger. And that was that people that had miraculous spiritual abilities, you had to be born that way. You were either born that way or you weren't. It's like if you want to be a professional basketball player, you were born 7 feet tall or you weren't, nothing you could do about it. And this sounds silly to me now, but I was afraid to really learn about it because I was afraid, like, what if I can't do it? What if I'm not one of those special people? And I let that hold me back. And like I said, now that seems so silly to me, but at the time, most of what holds us back are beliefs that later you go, after they change, you go, why did I even believe that? And I took a course I heard about on healing, something called Regenesis. Very, very powerful healing system. This was back, I think, in the early 80s. And I don't recommend learning it. It's really powerful. It's not good for the healer. Because what you learn to do is to run your life force and run it into somebody else, which depletes you. I mean, they get better, but it depletes you. And you'll be learning there's much, much better ways to do energy work. And, here I was afraid, like, can I do it? I don't know if I can do it. And when we would work on people, they'd go, well, you'll be able to see the energy. I couldn't see anything. They were going, you'll be able to feel the energy. I couldn't feel anything. So I thought, well, I'm not going to be any good at this. But I would work on people, and they would have amazing responses, and they'd feel way better at the end, and they'd look different. Their bodies would be different. And I had to start admitting, like, well, it's working, even though I can't do it in the way I think I should be able to do it. I can't see it. I can't feel it. But somehow it's working anyways. And I just kept pretending that it was working. And finally I was working with a woman, and In Regenesis, you touch people very lightly. I mean, just very, very lightly. And we were supposed to be working on the head, and the woman I was working on went, oh, I'm really looking forward to this because I had all this dental work, and it feels like my face is off because I had all this major work. I feel like things are twisted. So I thought, well, I don't know if I can help you, but so I put my fingers, on the joints and the jaw, just really lightly. And I started doing what they said, and I started pretending the energy was flowing. And all of a sudden, her face moved, and you could hear it too. It went and moved. And I was like startled, and she went, did you feel that? And I went, yes. And then it happened again. And her face rearranged better, and she looked better. Her skin tone, everything was better. She felt great. And it was the moment that I realized I was one of those special people. And it was really a big thing to me. I thought, I can do it. I'm one of those special people. Later, I found out I was wrong about that. I wasn't one of those special people. What I learned is that every person on the planet is one of those special people. Everybody was born with miraculous abilities. Now, not everybody's interested in developing them. It's not everybody's life path. But for anybody who wants to learn how to do it, it's easy. By the end of these 3 days, you'll be doing work that you'll find quite miraculous, and other people will be telling you the amazing difference it's making. Now, the reason we're doing this over 3 days is it will get stronger each day, and we will start doing energy work even this afternoon. This afternoon, my time, which will be evening for some of you, or morning. I know we have people in China and India, so we're in a lot of different time zones. What's important to me is that you do it in a way that's healthy for you. It's not that hard to turn on these abilities. It's important that you learn how to do it safely. If you were going to teach somebody to drive a car, particularly if it's an automatic transmission, you could take a 10-year-old and go, put them on a phone book or something so that they could see over the wheel and go, you turn it on, you steer it here, and you put your foot on the accelerator, and here's the brake. And they could drive. Now, they might hit something, they might do serious damage, but they could drive. The important thing is to teach people how to do things in a way that's safe for other people and safe for themselves, which is entirely doable. It's just a matter of learning how to do it. My first teachers did not teach me how to do that. And so I know from hard experience that you can go through a lot of things that there's just no need to go through it. Healing other people or working with your own energy should be easy, should be fun, it should be great for the other person. And I want to make it clear, this program isn't just for people that are therapists or coaches or healers. You'll be able to use energy work in every situation that you're in. For decades, I've worked with Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies on leadership and team development. I do energy work with them. I don't name it, but I do it with them. And you'll be learning, you always do things with permission, but it doesn't have to be conscious permission. The permission, you can tap into their energy and find out what permission you do or don't have. So you can use energy work, and people who study with me use energy work in every aspect of their lives, just for themselves, friends and family, at work. Some people use it, professional capacity. I've worked with people that are leaders, and they use it to enhance their leadership. People use it on teams to make the team better. So you'll really be able to use it in every aspect of your life. So everybody take a couple easy, deep breaths and relax. There's no effort over these next few days, other than the effort to show up, be here, turn on your phone, your computer, your tablet. But this isn't about force. This isn't about effort. If you're like me, I used to think everything was about effort. When I was young, I played the sports of wrestling, and I also played American football. In American football, it's all smashing into each other. And some of you have heard of Feldenkrais, which is a neuromuscular movement system. And I remember it blew my mind at the time when the woman teaching it, she was teaching us a movement, and she said, now do it softer and easier and smaller. And I went, I've never had anybody to tell me to do something softer and easier. It was like, and it did work better. So we're going to discover how easy and fun it can be to open up your miraculous abilities. You're going to be clearing unconscious blocks, energetic blocks, karma, spiritual contracts. If you don't know what all of those terms are, you will by the end of these few days. It'll be easy, it'll be fun if you let it be. I should bring up, when you do energy work, we're going to be doing a lot of releasing of old energies. Some of those energies are emotional energies. Most of those won't even be your energy. It'll be other people's emotional energy that's stuck in your body and your energy field. And when it releases, a lot of times you don't notice it. I mean, you just feel lighter, better, but you don't particularly notice it. Other times you feel it on the way out. So over these 3 days, emotions may come up at times. If it comes up, just be mindful of them. Just go, oh, good. Irritation's coming up, anxiety's coming up, whatever it is. Just let it come up and let it release. If you just notice it, acknowledge it, it will release on its own. And at any time, if you're not feeling good or you want help with anything, you can let the team members know and they'll let me know. The first NLP class I took, and I will be explaining for those of you that are new what NLP is and what energetic NLP is. NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, is a part of NLP. It's not the whole thing. NLP is a part of energetic NLP. Energetic NLP brings together spiritual principles, healing and transformative energy work, clairvoyance, developing all kinds of spiritual abilities with the NLP, with the neuro-linguistic programming. In the first course I ever took in NLP, I showed up, and a man named Michael LeBeau, who's an amazing trainer, and this was back in 1983, and we get in the room and he goes, take out a piece of paper and write down all your goals for what you want to get out of this program. And we're all writing and writing and writing and writing. And then at the end he goes, now I want you to take that paper, fold it up, put it away, and forget about it. And 60 people, including me, went, what? And he goes, what I want you to get out of this program is what you don't even know to want yet. And I remember thinking, wow, I'm in the right room. And it was true. By the end of this 10-day program, I did fulfill a lot of my goals, but I fulfilled all kinds of goals that I didn't even know to want. So I hope for all of you, you have goals in mind about how you want your life to be better, how you want your life experience to be better, and that you're open to things showing up that you didn't even know to want yet, or that you didn't think was possible. So a little bit about how the structure of these 3 days is going to go. One is that, times like this, I'll be talking, I'll be introducing concepts. At other times, we'll be doing group energy processes. At times, we'll break into small groups. And one of the ways that I teach is to do something called seeding, like seeding a plant. In seeding, you introduce a concept, but you don't necessarily go into depth about it right away. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. The reason for that is, you know how it is, once you hear something more than once, it gets familiar and it's easier to understand. When I was in college, or as they say in the UK, when I was in university and studying biology, one of my favorite teachers, it was a course in human physiology, and he told us there's going to be 2 textbooks. One of them is super complete, and the other one is good, but it's much simpler. And he goes, each reading assignment, I want you to read the simple book first. I want you to get the big picture, then get the details, because then it will make sense and it will all fit in. So in a similar way, at times I'll mention things, and by the second or third time I mention it, your unconscious mind goes, oh yeah, I've heard that before. So take a couple easy deep breaths. We're going to set our group energy. Actually, let me check everybody's energy. And I'll explain, I have an agenda and we will cover everything that's important. I'll constantly be looking at the group's energy, and sometimes I'll move things around because of the energy of the group. Groups create their kind of own energy field. But we will, everything that's important we'll do. At times I may just adjust things, which is much, much better for you. Okay, let me just check everybody's energy. Now, some of you are already familiar with the concept of your miraculous self. It's new to some of you. And I should say, in this program, there are people who have been doing energy work for 30, 40 years, people that are brand new to it. Because you're going to put your spirit and your inner wisdom in charge of what happens for you, everybody gets what will take them to their next level of abilities. So if you're brand new, the energy will work with you in a certain way. If you're very experienced, the energy will work with you in a different way. And I've been teaching this course for years, and the consistent feedback I get from even people, excuse me, sorry, my throat's a little dry this morning. There we go. That even people who've been doing energy work for a long time, they take what they're going to learn this weekend and they add it to what they already know, and they take their work to a new level. And those of you that are brand new, 3 days from now, you'll be doing things that you'll find to be quite miraculous. So this concept of your miraculous self is key to everything we're doing. And it's unique to energetic NLP. And so let it be its own unique concept. It's not the same as your high self. Your high self just exists. And all of us have a different idea of what our high selves are anyways, but your high self just exists. Your miraculous self kind of exists, kind of sort of exists until you start working with it. You can think of it like a muscle in your body. Think of it as a muscle in your body that you never use. So it's there, but it can't do much. But you start using it and it gets supple, it gets flexible, it gets strong, and you can do amazing things with it. It's the same way with your miraculous self. Once you start developing it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So if you've already created your miraculous self with me in the past, think in terms of your miraculous self evolving, getting more powerful, increasing its ability to nurture you, guide you, and help you manifest. Increasing its ability to communicate with your unconscious mind, your conscious mind, and directly with your body. And well, if you're new to this, we'll be going into all of that. And what your miraculous self is when your spirit, with its vast perspective, and your deep inner human wisdom, with its very human perspective, come together aligned to guide you, nurture you, heal you, and help you manifest. And someone's asking, is your inner wisdom like intuition? I really encourage you, don't try to define these too closely. Your spirit knows what your deep inner human wisdom is, and just leave it at that. I'll use terms like spirit, deep inner human wisdom, your essence. And if you try to figure it all out, you'll get caught up in all that analytical thinking that will just hold you back. Your spirit knows what it is. Your spirit knows what your deep inner human wisdom is. And your spirit knows what your essence is. And if you just let that be okay, that consciously you're not sure what I'm talking about, the magic will happen. It'll be so much more powerful if you just go, okay, I'm not sure what art is talking about, but my spirit knows. And we'll go into this in more depth later, but what I'm calling your spirit is the higher frequencies of your non-physical self. So what I'm calling your spirit, because people use the word to mean different things, are the higher frequencies of your non-physical self. You can think of them as being in your aura, in your energy field, but higher above you. And when you're dealing with that aspect of yourself, the higher frequencies of yourself, it's a lot like the perfect parent. Your spirit is going, whatever you want, dear. You want to have a life of abundance? That's a valid spiritual path. You want to struggle? Well, that's another valid spiritual path. And it's not because your spirit doesn't care. Your spirit loves you and cares about you very deeply. And at the same time, your spirit just sees your life in a whole different way. Your spirit knows what you're doing on the planet, how your life is part of the whole unfolding of humanity. So it has this big picture. Your deep inner human wisdom is very practical. It's very wise, but it's very in touch with living a human day-to-day life. And you would think your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom would automatically work together, but they don't. There's probably areas of your life where they do, where things just go really smoothly. But yeah, most areas of our life, they're not really coordinated. And getting them to come together creates your miraculous self. Your spirit, your deep inner human wisdom, when they come together, form your miraculous self. Now, if you try to figure this all out, if you try to figure out how to do it, it's a lot like if you've ever been dancing and you're thinking about, okay, how should I be moving? Should I be moving like this? Should I be doing like that? And you look clunky and you can't dance very well. Where somebody else is just, dancing really well because they're just letting it flow. This will work best if you just pretend it's working and let it flow, and then later you can analyze it. But the first step is just to pretend and let it happen. Think of it as like you're allowing your playful inner child to come out. If you were 5 years old and I said, okay, fill the room you're in with sparkling gold energy, you would giggle and you would do it. And you would fill the room with sparkling gold energy because you just treat it like a fun little thing to do. And that's where your real abilities come out. In energetic NLP, we always set an intention. So that's for your conscious mind. You set your intention. You add the terms or better. The reason to add that is you probably all had the experience where sometimes there's something you wanted in life, and either you got it and then you didn't like it that much, or something better happened that you weren't even thinking of, or that was beyond what you were thinking of. So we always set our intentions and then we go or better, because that will give your miraculous self permission to do something even better than you're thinking of. So take a couple easy deep breaths, and assuming that you want to, right now just set your intention that your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom are going to form your miraculous self right now. And if you've done this with me before, that it's going to evolve your miraculous self and improve it and enhance it. And then give 100% permission for that to happen. And then the key ingredient is just use your imagination. Just pretend it's happening. You don't need to know how it's happening. Just pretend, ooh, they're coming together and they're forming my miraculous self. Because when you use your imagination, you open up the incredible abilities of the unconscious mind and of your spirit. So just imagine, pretend that's happening. And energy is coming in for all of you now to help you do that. Helps if you smile. It's hard to be serious if you're smiling. It kind of confuses your body, like, oh, I guess I'm not serious. And then I'd like you to imagine that you have a miraculous self now. You don't even have to believe it. Just imagine you have one. You do. Just imagine you have one. And as these 3 days progress, your miraculous self is going to get stronger and stronger, and its ability to guide you, nurture you, heal you, and help you manifest is going to get stronger and stronger over these 3 days. Now, you're always existing in an energy environment. In a few minutes, we're going to create a group energy space, but first we want to set the energy space around you. One of my teachers years ago, John Fulton, used to say that, he goes, you're finally realizing that the space around you isn't empty. And the old saying that fish aren't aware of water? Well, it's the same way that unless it's windy, we don't think about that we're in an atmosphere, that we're in air. You're always in an energy environment. And you tend to notice it when it's extreme. So if you walk into the room and everybody's angry, you go, whoa, what's happening here? You can feel it. If you walk in the room and everybody's in a good mood and loving one another, you feel that. We're always in energy environments. And one of the things that you'll be learning is you can always set the energy environment for yourself. So even if there's somebody else in the room that you're in, you can set the energy environment for you. Now, when you get more adept, you can learn how to set it for other people too. But for right now, you just want to set the energy environment for yourself, which is really, really easy. And you can think of it like with our cell phones, our mobile phones, that you can have 5 people in a room and their phones all work because they're all at different frequencies. Well, all of us are at different frequencies. So you can set the energy in the room for yourself. And it's really, really simple. Again, it's intention, permission, and imagination. And the thing we're going to add now is putting your miraculous self in charge. For everything else that we do, I want to strongly encourage you, you put your miraculous self in charge. If you can't trust your own spirit and your own inner wisdom, what can you trust? So you're not handing over power to me. You're handing over power to your own miraculous self to guide you, nurture you, heal you, and help you manifest. Now, most of you are aware that solid matter isn't really solid. If you ever studied physics, you know that we're mostly empty space. The molecules and the atoms are far apart from each other, relative to their size. So in a lot of ways, even a physical thing is like a sponge. And it's why objects can hold energy, because there's a lot of space for the energy to be. So right now, set your intention that you're going to set the energy in the room that you're in for you to have an amazing experience these 3 days, and specifically today. If you're outside, you can just imagine like a bubble of energy around you, or if you're in a big public place, you might be at an airport or a train station, just imagine a bubble of energy around you. And wherever you are, if you're inside, there's a ceiling, there's walls, windows, and a floor. Gold energy is a very powerful spiritual energy. And at times we're going to use different energies, but you can always use gold energy. So set your intention to set the energy space in the room you are so that it's easy to let go of limiting beliefs, old traumas, pains, painful emotions. It's easy to let go of limiting beliefs, unconscious programming, energetic programming, karma, spiritual contracts. All of these things we'll go into more depth about. But just imagine this is a place of healing and transformation, wherever you are. And it's a space that where as soon as you let go of old programming and beliefs, your miraculous self will give you a download of wisdom and knowledge, concepts, skills, abilities, and attitudes from your miraculous self. And now, putting your miraculous self in charge, just imagine the ceiling, the walls, and the windows where you are absorbing like a sponge universal gold energy. There's essentially infinite universal energies around us. So just imagine, the ceiling, the walls, and windows are just sucking up this gold energy. And even if you're in a city, beneath you in the earth are Mother Earth, Mother Nature energies. It's everywhere on the planet. It's just easier to notice if you're by a lake or a stream or the ocean, but it's everywhere. Imagine that the floor of the room you're in is filling up with Mother Earth, Mother Nature energies. Energies that are healing, loving, acknowledging, nurturing. Energies that acknowledge your right to exist, that you're part of the planet. Okay, easy deep breaths. There was a question, is there a particular chakra or energy center in our body through which we can visualize channeling the energy? I really encourage all of you, let it be really simple. You don't need to micromanage your miraculous self. It's a great question, and it's something maybe to explore later. But even if you're really advanced, it's really simple if you let it be. You just tell your miraculous self, fill up the walls, ceilings, and windows with gold energy, and the floor with earth energy. Honestly, I don't think about it any more than that. I let my miraculous self figure out how to do it. Your spirit knows so much more about it than your conscious mind ever could. Your spirit knows everything about your energy field and what to do with it. So just let it be easy for right now. Let it be magical. There you go. That was to everybody, because now the energy is relaxing. Now, in energetic NLP, we don't talk about negative and positive energy, and I'll tell you why. You've all heard the saying, what you resist persists. What you resist persists. And energetically, it's very true. When you resist an energy, sometimes you can force it out, but often it gets worse. You get into like this battle with it. And we'll be learning how to take care of your energy field and to go from the idea of protection to things that are much better than protection. But as soon as you label an energy as negative, first of all, it's not necessarily true. What might be a positive energy for you might not be helpful for me. But as soon as you label it as negative, part of your brain goes into resistance to it. So we divide energies in a couple of ways. One is energies are yours or they're not yours. They're yours or they're not yours. If they're not yours, they're helpful or they're not helpful. So we're always going to be clearing energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful. So again, rather than negative energies, I encourage you, at least for these 3 days, to think about there's energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful. And if you think about that, you can feel the difference in going, oh, it's negative energy. It's like, not mine, not helpful. It allows you to be more neutral, which allows you to be way more powerful. Now, of the energies that are yours, we divide them into two groups. If it is your energy, it either belongs in present time or it doesn't. So what doesn't belong in present time? Old, painful, emotional energies. Traumas from earlier in your life, maybe from a past life. So it might have been your energy when you were younger, but we all have traumatic, painful energies from earlier in our life. You don't need to keep that in the present. It doesn't even belong here. And when you release it, it doesn't go back to your younger self. You can just release it into the earth. So over these 3 days, you're going to be learning how to keep clearing energies that aren't yours, that aren't helpful, bring in energies that aren't yours but are helpful, how to bring in more of your authentic energy that belongs in present time, your essence, and how to let go of energies, particularly the painful or traumatic or even just annoying energies from earlier in your life that don't belong here. And the good news is you're going to put your miraculous self in charge of all this, so you don't have to figure it out. Once you get the basic concept of that, your miraculous self goes, okay, got it, and it will take care of it. So, when last we left our heroine and heroes, you were in a room with gold walls and ceilings and earth energy in the floor. Imagine there's a magnet outside the room, and it's an energy magnet, and just give your miraculous self permission to use that magnet to pull out of the room energies that aren't yours and aren't helpful, and also old painful energies that are in the room that maybe were yours, but you don't need them in present time. They don't belong here. And just imagine the magnet does all the work. You know, if you hold up a pin in a magnet and you let go of the pin, the magnet pulls it. It does all the work. You just let go. Hopefully I'm not being subtle. All you have to do is let go and the magnet does the work. So let the magnet pull energies out of the room that aren't helpful. Now give your miraculous self permission to bring into the room a whole symphony of energies that are helpful. And those are earth and universal energies, not people's energies. There's all kinds of earth energies that are helpful, all kinds of universal energies that are helpful. And your miraculous self can figure this out. It's bringing them in. Excellent. And with practice, you're going to learn you can do this really quickly. You can walk in the room, set the energy for yourself. You can walk into a plane, a bus, a train, set the energy for yourself. Walk into a meeting, set the energy for yourself. And it makes a huge difference, as you'll be learning over these few days. And it is that simple. You just walk in and go, okay, magnet outside, clear out what's not good. Gold energy in the walls and ceiling, earth energy in the floor, done. You know, and then let your miraculous self bring in the energies that are very helpful. So now let's do that as a group. Every session each day, we're going to set our group energy space. After this, we'll do it immediately. And at the end of the session, we dissolve it. We reestablish it. We dissolve it. We reestablish it. So, again, energy follows your thought and intention. And with energy work, you can just declare things. and just go, that's just the way it is. So imagine there's this giant gold ball of energy, which is our Discover Your Miraculous Abilities space. And wherever we are in the world, we're in it. I said there's somebody in China, India, Europe, US, South America. I'm sure other places I haven't mentioned, and I apologize for not mentioning them. Wherever you are in the world, we're inside this gold ball. And I invite you to set your intention that every single one of us gets an incredible enhancement in our lives as a result of what we're going to do over these 3 days. Set your intention that each and every one of us is going to get a wonderful enhancement in our lives over these 3 days. Starting now, of course. And I was being a little sneaky there because that means it includes you. So set your intention that these 3 days are going to wonderfully enhance your life. And again, when you have goals in mind, that's great, but also be open to or better for things to happen that you didn't even think of happening, that are beyond what you were imagining. Let's bring in universal love energies so that everybody here feels loved and acknowledged. Imagine in this gold ball there are energies that are nurturing and healing. Healing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Imagine this is a space where it's easy to let go of old blocks and limitations, whether it's limiting beliefs, unconscious programming, ancestral programming, past life programming, familial or societal programming, programming from different groups and teachers, karma, energetic programming, spiritual contracts. But this is a space where it's easy for those to just gently dissolve. And as soon as they dissolve, each one of you, your miraculous self, this is a space where it's easy for your miraculous self to download into you wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, abilities, and attitudes and behaviors from your miraculous self. Now, if there's anybody that you know that you'd like to be getting a healing, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical, while this is going on, imagine putting a little tiny drop of their energy in front of you. Just a tiny, tiny drop. And in your mind, just tell the person that you're in this energy program and that if they want, they can be getting a healing in the background. And that their spirit will be in charge of the healing they get. So not what you think they need. We're offering the energy will help them with whatever their spirit wants for them, what their miraculous self wants for them. And if they don't want anything, that's okay. And then take the drops of energy for any of those people and imagine they float up so they're near the top of our gold ball of energy. Because we don't want them in the way, but we want them to get a healing in the background. Then put little drops of energy in front of you for how you want your life to be enhanced as a result of these 3 days. And you don't necessarily have to be super specific. You can if you want. Let's say you want a new primary relationship. You could just have a drop of energy that you have a wonderful, wonderful primary relationship. You know, it could be as simple as that. Or a wonderful job or a wonderful career. And just put those little drops of energy in front of you. It can be about health and vitality, spiritual growth, personal growth, work, career, business, abundance, relationships of all kinds, family, etc., etc. Whatever is important to you. and then bless each one with the idea of or better, so that your miraculous self could give you something even better than you're asking for. And then let those drops of energy float up near the top of the gold ball, so that over these 3 days, our collective energy is helping you to manifest those goals or something better. So again, they're out of our way, but just set your intention that the energy is working for everybody's goals or better. And again, affirm that we're setting our intention that everybody gets a wonderful enhancement in their lives as a result of this. Now, we're going to be talking more about permission. It turns out there's a lot to permission. There's permission from your spirit, your soul, your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, your body, and until you get what's called whole being permission. And we'll go into that later. For right now, just give yourself 100% permission to receive the benefits you want and or something better. Just giving 100% permission to receive. And by the way, notice the way I said that. I didn't go, I'm giving permission. Again, it's not about force. It's about, I'm giving permission. Period. Done. When you come from that more neutral place, it's actually more powerful. If you've ever been around somebody who's very powerful, sometimes they carry on. I mean, there's certainly people like that in the world, but a lot of very powerful people, when they give an order, it's very calm. I remember when I was a researcher, one of the labs affiliated with us, the professor, doctor professor, that it was in charge of a number of labs, and people had enormous respect for him. Enormous respect. And I remember one time it was getting a little noisy, and he went, could it be a little quieter? Just like, it was from South Africa, could it be a little quieter? And you could have heard a pin drop. And it wasn't from fear, it was just from a place of pure power, and our respect. So when you give permission, you are the sovereign of your energy field. We're going to be talking about that a lot. You're the sovereign of your energy field. So when you give permission, you're giving permission. That's all there is to it. Okay, so we've set our group energy space, your individual energy space and a group energy space. And let's bring in a lot of sparkling energy. And we're going to keep adding things to this. From now on, we'll set your energy space, your individual one, the group one, but it'll be fast in the future now that you're learning how to do it. There's something I'd like you to do. So move around a little bit. Sometimes it helps, if you feel like it, to pump your arms a little bit. Kind of gets the blood flowing, or pat your body, move and stretch. In a little bit, we're going to start doing some energy processes that will be powerful. Really good to move at the end. Now, a lot of you will get in a really dreamy place, and I'll go, okay, stand up and stretch, and you'll be going, not a chance, Art. I like it here. But I do encourage you, when you move, because as your energy field is aligning and getting better, your body wants to realign too, but it can't do it if you don't move. And the other thing is, at times I'll want you actually to be listening to me at least a little bit. You don't have to listen all the time, but sometimes. I'd like us to do the energetic NLP pledge. Now, some of you know what I'm referring to, so you're probably giggling already. The rest of you might be going, is this a cult? So I'd like you to trust me for a moment. Let's do the energetic NLP pledge. If you don't like it, at the end, just go cancel, and it's done, okay? Just let it be simple. Very important. In fact, I'm going to take a sip of tea. Me. All right. It helps if you raise your right hand. And I find it helps if I lower my voice because it sounds more serious to me. I solemnly swear I will not believe anything Art says. I will explore and discover my own inner wisdom and spiritual information. Okay, good. I feel the energy changes when you do that. And I'm really, really serious about that. There's a lot of people teaching a lot of wonderful spiritual programs and energy programs. The one thing that I often don't like is people keep telling me what the truth is. You know, like they've walked down from Mount Sinai with the Ten Commandments and they're the Word of God, you know. And again, it's very well intended. I don't like that and I don't believe in that. My goal is always, somebody put hee in the thing, thank you. It's always terrible when you do a joke and nobody laughs. Not that that ever happens to me, of course, but my belief, again, is you're the sovereign of your energy field. You can tap into better wisdom than anybody can teach you. So I take tons of courses. I do a lot with teachers. I don't believe them. I go in and I learn from them. I used to study at a place called Asclepion, which was named after Asclepius, a Greek god of healing. And the man, John Fulton, who ran it, he could be annoying as heck, but he was an amazing teacher and an amazing energy worker. I don't know what to call him. It's quite amazing. And I wanted to take some classes from them. A friend of mine kept saying, he goes, Art, you know, they do things differently than you, and I think you'd learn a lot, and that you'd find things you'd want to use. So John asked me when I applied, he wanted to have a one-to-one talk with me. And he was looking at my energy and he goes, why do you want to study here? You're already really talented. You already have a great deal of information. So why do you want to come here? And I went, well, thank you. And I go, because I want to know what you know. And I go, when I walk in that door, and I pointed at the front door, I go, when I walk in that door, I'm going to leave what I know outside. I'm going to come in and learn what you know. When I go back outside, I'm going to integrate it. But when I'm here to learn what you know. And he went, oh, I like that. And what was funny and very validating was shortly after that, when I started the classes, we broke up into groups. And this guy was very talented, and he didn't know anything about that. He didn't know me. We hadn't met before. And he's reading my energy, and all of a sudden he goes, I don't know why you think you can't do your stuff when you're here. Your stuff is great. You should be doing it. I don't know why you won't do it when you're here. And I started laughing, and I went, that was a really good read, and here's why I'm doing it. I'm not coming here to like show people what I know. I'm coming here to learn what I don't know. Now, I learned a lot being there, and there were a lot of ways that John Fulton looked at things that I see differently. But I learned a lot by temporarily stepping into that perspective, not believing it, but stepping into it and exploring it. And I learned a tremendous amount. And that's what I would like with all of you, is that you, while we're here together, that you play with the ideas that I'm giving you. Because honestly, I don't believe what I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I think today. I mean, to me, it would be terrible if 10 years from now, I was thinking exactly what I was thinking today. To me, it'd be like, well, what have I been doing for 10 years? Because I'm always wanting to learn and grow. So, I'm proud of what I have to offer. And it's not about you believing it. I want you to explore it. So the ultimate goal is always that you're connecting more with your spiritual information and your inner wisdom, and that using what we're talking about over these few days to do it. So I'll be talking about your soul and your spirit. And there's 100 different ways people can define those things. There's a lot of different ways to look at the chakras and the energy system and at everything else in life. So I'm just offering a way to look at it while you're here, play around with it, keep what you like, evolve, or change what doesn't quite fit for you. But while you're here, just play around with it. And you'll find you'll have so much more fun. It'll be so much easier if you just kind of go, okay, I'm used to analyzing everything, but for the next 3 days, I'm not gonna. And if you're like me, again, I don't know if I mentioned it, I managed a medical research lab for 11 years for the University of California Medical School in San Francisco, which is one of the top health science research institutions in the world. I love logic and love analyzing. And I wouldn't give up those skills for anything. And the skill of not analyzing, going with the flow and allowing things to emerge that I didn't know were there is another skill. So we'll be doing both over these 3 days. But again, I'll be using words like spirit and deep inner human wisdom and essence. And right now, if you just assume that your spirit knows what that is for you, it'll be perfect. Okay, so let me just check everybody's energy. Easy deep breaths. And we will be getting a break in about, let me double check my schedule. I think about half an hour, just in case you're wondering. Yes. But I want us to do some energy work first. So we're going to be doing a lot of clearing over these 3 days. Clearing, opening, blossoming. Clearing, opening, blossoming. A woman one time, she was sponsoring workshops I was doing in Paris, and she went, "You sure emphasize clearing a lot." And I went, "Yeah," because we all need to do it. Most people would be appalled if you knew how much of the energy in your energy field isn't yours. Most of the energy in your energy field for almost everybody isn't yours. I think for your average person, this is my opinion, 98% of the energy in their energy field isn't really their essence, isn't really them. Now, you don't need the energy to be 100% you. So in the same way, we eat food, and when it comes in, it's not part of our body. I mean, we metabolize it and use it. You want energies in your energy field that are earth and universal energies. But what happens is we have tons of energy from other people. And well, depending on whether you believe in past lives, but in this lifetime, it starts when you're in the womb. So when you're in your mother's womb, your parents didn't know it, but they were programmed to program their children energetically. All parents are programmed to program their children. It's ancestral. It hands down. Even if you never met your mother and father, they were programming you. And again, outside of their awareness. And the programming isn't just coming from them. It's coming from their parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents and on and on and on. And particularly those of us who have backgrounds where there's a lot of strong connection culturally to ancestors, we have a ton of it. But everybody has quite a bit of it. And just as we don't talk about positive and negative energies, the programming, it isn't whether it's good or bad. It's whether it fits you in this lifetime. It's whether your miraculous self wants it or not. A lot of the programming doesn't fit our modern 21st century world. You know, look around the people on the screen. We're not living like people did 100 years ago or 200 years ago, even 30 years ago. And we don't want to. And the people that are attracted to energetic NLP are people that want to be authentic and want to be on their authentic spiritual path. So for us, it's very, very important to let go of that old programming. And in a bit, we're going to start letting go of that. I should mention something else though first. You could put a Y in the chat for yes and for no. How many of you are familiar with the idea of soul age? You can put, if it's convenient, a Y or an N. Soul age is a very interesting concept, and I encourage you not to take it too seriously. It's an interesting idea. I think things are way more complicated than this, but it is a helpful distinction. The idea of soul age is that people came in, their souls came in to this lifetime with different kind of life paths in mind. And that has a lot to do with how much experience your soul has before it came into this lifetime. So people talk about baby souls or infant souls, young souls, mature souls, old souls. And again, take it with a grain of salt, but it is helpful. And one is not better than the other. So for people like us, a lot of us like, I want to be an old soul. All of them have strengths and weaknesses. None of them are any better than the other. They're just a different path that your soul wants for this lifetime. the people that are attracted to energetic NLP tend to be mature or older souls. And the older your soul is, typically the more complicated you make life. You know how some people, everything's really simple? And there's other ways to get there, but younger souls tend to just see things black and white, really simple. This isn't always true, but a lot of younger souls are the ones who went, you know, I thought I started a business, so I went online, found out how to do it. A week later, I had my business. 2 weeks after that, I had a website, I was making money, you know, and they just tend to do things. And again, they can do the opposite, but a lot of the people that are real big-time doers are either mature or young or even infant souls, because they just let life be simple. The way my really good friend John Friedlander, who has some wonderful books on energy work and spirituality, the way he described it to me many years ago is he went, Art, you get frustrated because you see somebody do something and it's easy for them sometimes, and you go, why is it harder for me? And he goes, because a lot of times you're going, well, I'm probably smarter than them. I'm at least as smart as them. I'm as hardworking as them. I mean, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they just, boom, making everything work. And he goes, think of it this way. Let's say you want to paint something red. Let's say you want to paint a wall red. It's easy to paint a wall red. He goes, what if you have a wall that's got all kinds of colors in it? You want to put a little red here, a little red there, a little red there. And every place you put red, it's affecting everything else. He goes, that you're living that kind of life. You're doing a whole complicated thing. You know, a lot of it outside of your awareness, but your spirit on a complicated spiritual path. But you compare yourself to people that are on a simpler path. And he goes, what you're doing isn't superior to what they're doing. It's different. But when you compare yourself to them, you get confused. And if any of you can relate to what I'm talking about, you can put a Y in the chat. Because people that are attracted, and again, there are old souls who, boom, get everything done. I'm not trying to make it a rule, but I think a lot of you can relate to what I'm saying. We just make things complicated. And that's okay. I mostly like that about myself. I just, it just can slow things down quite a bit. So the point of that is, for people like us, we need to clear a lot of the programming and beliefs out of our space so we can embody more of this older soul that we are and live that kind of life, because that's what we're up to. And again, it's not superior. There's a lot of people doing great stuff in the world who are younger souls. You know, and they're just making it happen. And there are some older souls doing it too. Again, I'm not saying you can't. So take a moment, and if it feels right to you, just enjoy the fact that, yeah, I'm an older soul. That's, you know, and that's what we like that, because that's what we came here to do. You know.